It is my immense pleasure and my honor to welcome all of you here, all the dignitaries who have come far away, especially to make this event a very successful.
I would like to invite Dr. Geetha Bora to talk on empowering underprivileged women. She's a catalyst for a better world through economic advancement. Dr. Geetha Bora is the founder and director of Spheral Foundation, a prominent NGO dedicated to social welfare initiatives across India. With a background in computer science, she spent 14 years as a software architect in both India and USA, leveraging technology to enhance accessibility and affordability in education. She's already here, but still put your hands together for her.
This presentation, actually, it's my research paper. We do a lot of work. I will quickly tell what all we do, but then we will quickly go to the next, the research. So we are in India. We are working in 15 states. India is a very big country, so we have many states and that many population as well. And we are a 7-year-old organization. Before that, I was working in IT. I was a Google employee, ex-Google employee. So then I thought, this is something which it was my inner calling. So I felt what Geeta Didi was telling, like you should focus on mind and you should focus on your thoughts. But there are many, many underprivileged people who are just focusing on 2 time of food. So for them, it is somebody has to come up, and that is what our NGO does. So we are working in all the 17 UN goals. And when we say UN goals these are the 17 United Nations goals. Instashala is one of our app where this helps us in giving courses, skilling courses. We made a Guinness World Record for empowering women. And these are a certification. Why it is important? Because whatever numbers now you will see on the screen, these are certified by Tata Institute of Social Service, NSTC, SGS, which is an international inspection agency, GuideStar, and we are also part of National Stock Exchange, and we offer social stocks. You might have heard about shares, right? So NGOs offer social stocks and zero coupon, zero principal bonds. Okay, and these are the colored map which shows where all we are functioning. Okay, so this is the ground situation. If you see, approximately 23% of women in India have no formal education, and 31% have only done their primary education. Okay. So when I was coming to London, immigration officer asked me why you are going, right? Mostly when we come, people ask, and immigration officers ask. So I said, I have a session on women empowerment. And he said, what kind of women empowerment? Already they are empowered. So So I said, yeah, it is, but majority of them are not. And this is a very true statement when we see, okay, women are doing astronauts, they are doing startups, they are everywhere, right? But I call it tokenism. Women have shown they can do these things, but not everybody is there. Still, their decisions are taken by their father or husband or sometimes brothers also. So that is the reason we are working, and mostly we work for underprivileged women. When we say underprivileged, these women live in slums, these women live in rural part of India. And this is a story of in developing countries and poor country everywhere. It is nothing, the statistics you will see here for India, but it is same everywhere. And according to this 46% of women in India do not have bank account. It is very simple thing, right? But they don't have, and they are not allowed to have. And those who have 100%, out of that 50% are not operated by them. It is either not working or they are controlled by either some male members. Only 12.8% of women in India have their name on some property. So they don't own a property. So that's the graph here. You can see 47.05 female are under poverty. Compared to male, you can see the graph. We can go to the next slide. Yes. So this is the paper which we are writing after working 7 years. And the brief is what all impact it can bring if you empower these underprivileged women who don't have anything, don't have bank account, don't have name on the property, even though they live in that house, but they don't have their name. If something happens to the male, they are homeless. So that is the situation. So what exactly, how it helps and what all measures we are taking, we can go to the next slide. So these are the programs which we conduct. These are the skilling program. These are the photos which all you will see. It is coming from pan-India level, what all we are doing. Skilling programs are there where we are either skilling them or upskilling them. It can be tailoring course, it can be beautician course, it can be anything which they can do based on whatever education level they have. We have programs for illiterate women as well. So, and then entrepreneurship, here we are helping women who want to start something. It can be a vegetable cart also. In UK, you won't see people selling something on road, but in India, it is very common. So, vegetable cart, tea stalls, very small businesses, we help them to set up, and we also provide them mentorship, training, and everything. And then digital and financial literacy. I told you that there is no bank account for many of the females. So we help them to open the bank account, how you have to operate, because there are many who are working, but they don't have control on their own money. So you should have your bank account, you should save it. If you will take cash, if your husband is alcoholic, entire cash is gone. So you don't have control, right? So that's how what we do is we try, at least we teach them some financial literacy, and if they are doing some kind of business, so they should know bookkeeping. So that is what we are doing. And social security scheme, there are so many government schemes are there where they can get free health schemes, free insurances, free pension, but they are not aware. Like UK, we don't have that kind of educational access to these women who it's free, but they are not aware of. How we are coming to these numbers, these are the methodologies which we adopted. We have done groundwork, 15 states, and the size is of 10,000 women. So we are we have impacted 11 lakh women, but out of that we have taken only size of 10,000 women, where we have seen, we have done case studies, there are one-to-one interviews, focus interviews, and this data is entire public. So this is the key findings. If you see, after doing our entrepreneurship program, what happens is those whom we helped, 70% of women started their own business, and those who participated in our program, okay, 30% was dropout. I won't say 100% it happens. 70% women started their business. It's a huge number, right? Then income growth, if you see, 50% to 100%, they could increase their income. Then revenue, it's 50%. Then customer satisfaction, 60%. Market expansion, 30%. So these numbers are coming from there. And 80% of women-led business remained operational after 3 years. We started business. After 6 months, it is working, but you should see it over the period of time. So once we started inspecting, then after 3 years when we approached, still they were doing that business. Right? So that shows the success. Then in skill programming, those who are don't have any skill, we train them in many different skill. We have 120 skill courses. Out of that, there are a few pictures here. So 65% people could get jobs. Okay. 70% of women reported improvement in their technical skills, confidence, and whatnot. And economic independence, if you see, 60% of women who participated in this, they moved from informal to formal employment. And entrepreneurship opportunities, if you see, 30% of this, these skilled women started their own business, started working from home, or they did something. Digital and financial literacy. So it started with teaching them. Everybody has smartphone, but women, underprivileged women don't have. They have family phone, but it is not for them. So there is a digital divide, and it is not poor or rich divide, it is gender-based divide, which we call gender-based digital divide. So that is, once we taught them, okay, this is how digital and financial literacy, we have 3 months of course where we tell them how you can use phone for learning, and how you can book many things, how you can online access things, and then financial literacy or the same thing. So 90% of our women said, like, I need access to digital device. 85% gained internet connectivity. It's not that it is not available, it's just that they feel it is not for me. Right? That happens. So financial decision making, and this I have seen in educated women also. Many are doing very good job, but when it comes to financials, they have some hesitation. They say, okay, this will be taken care by my husband. So it should not be. Take your you should always have some interest in maths and finances. It helps, and moreover, if you are privileged, you have, it's a moral responsibility that you at least help somebody who really need of help, because it's otherwise we can't take it. So digital skill proficiency, if you see, 85% of women shown improvement in digital skills. So next slide. So we have given all this data to the government, and they are doing all these policy recommendations which we have given. So it is under process. Some of them they will pick, not everything they will pick, but definitely if we can achieve at least 30% of recommendation, if they follow, it's sufficient. Next year we will again give them the recommendation. Okay, so these are our real life success stories. I will just go through it. She is a 23-year-old entrepreneur, already mom of 2 kids. This is very common. You will find a 16-year-old and mom of 2 kids. So she is, and we did digital and financial literacy for her, and her monthly profit is now 15,000 to 8,000. If you see, in India, underprivileged women earn from 3,000 to 8,000. This is the rupees, Indian rupees. So this is how it increased. She is only breadwinner in her family with 2 kids. So for her also, we did a digital financial literacy program, and her profit is 25,000. What she does is, she is using WhatsApp, and there are many online tools to gain customers. Again, this is 30-year-old tailor. Here we gave her a skilling training where she learned how to stitch clothes, and her business rose to 20,000 rupees. So this is how our classroom looks like. Okay, there is no chair, no table, nothing. People are sitting on ground, and the real classes. And this is the story of empowerment. Empowerment, you don't need to be in big university to get empowered. You should have intent, and other person should be a learner. And we can't really, in NGO, we can't really do this kind of arrangement. So people are sitting on ground. Yes, we have did one arrangement of projector. That's the best we can do. So this is after training, because the training is for a full day. 3 to 4 hours is considered as full day in India. So you have to do arrangement for their lunch and everything. And lunch, you can see how they are having. You can go to the next slide. And this is how our training classes looks like. Here they are actually learning tailoring. This is the slide. You can see kids are sitting with their moms. Actually, they are giving exam. After training is done, this is the assessment going on. After that, they will get certificate, and then they will get job. So kids are everywhere. And this is the story of empowerment. You will see all this Paytm, Pay, Google Pay, and everywhere. You might have seen in India there are a vegetable owner also has a Paytm. He is doing online. How it is happening? There are so many NGOs working on ground. From COVID, this story started, and this is there. Digital banking. This is how we teach them the digital banking. You can see how they are accessing the devices. Thank you.
The next award goes to Dr. Geeta Bora.